Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Hello everybody, I definitely did the intro right the first time and didn't have to redo it the second time. Welcome to episode 60 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian.
And today we are joined once again by our good friend Jeremy. Why don't you say hello to all the lovely people listening?
Hello everybody.
Yeah, that's we're gonna have an amazing stream for you guys. Let's see, before we get started, I do have a couple announcements that I want to make. So, for those of you guys that are in the Discord, you'll know, but I am going back to Disneyland. I need to find the dates really quick. We're gonna be planning another meetup in December with all of you guys who decide to come. And I want to know what days would be good for everybody, because last time we had a really great turnout, and hopefully this next time we'll have even more amazing people that will show up. So I'm going to be in the parks the December 3rd through the 7th. Yeah. So please comment down below what days would be good for the meetup, because I want to make sure to have... I don't want to leave anybody out. I want as many people to be there as... as possible. But yeah, so December, what was it again? December 3rd through the 7th. So it's all through the week, not the weekends, sadly. I know some of you guys have things to do during the weekdays, like school and stuff. But yeah, those will be the days that I'll be in the parks. Yeah, so definitely comment down below what days would be good for the meetup. I was thinking, some of the people in the Discord said the 3rd or the 4th. So yes, definitely, yeah, just whatever days you're free that week where you guys would like to meet up, comment down below and we'll try to aggregate all of the dates together to like pick one single date for you guys. But yeah, hopefully we'll have another amazing turnout, because last time we had a really amazing time. Alex and Jeremy were there. You guys had a good time, right?
Sure. No, I mean, yeah. No, it was great.
I mean, I was there for 10 minutes, but well, probably like a half hour, really. But it was fun to see everybody.
Yeah, and like I said, we want to have as many people who want to come be there as possible. So yeah, like I said, I've said this a lot of times already. Comment down below the dates you guys would like to have the meetup on, and we'll see if we can plan a day. Maybe we can have it the same as before. We can meet in downtown Disney, and then we can actually go into Disneyland, hopefully, with everybody, and we can like get some lunch or something, get on a few rides, maybe watch the fireworks. I don't know. We'll plan it. There's still a couple months to go. There's actually only like one more month. I just realized that. So only like one more month,
God.
Guys.
You know what'd be great is if we promoted it as the Matterhorn Alex meetup.
Oh yeah, the Matterhorn Alex meetup. It's a great idea. That would probably make even more people come, just because Alex is in the name. But we're gonna see if our friend Second Star will be able to make it during those days, because as many of you guys know, he wasn't able to make it the last time we had the meetup, because I think he said he had pneumonia. Well, I already forgot his name. Alex, if you remember his name, please chime in, because I cannot remember his name for the life of me. It wasn't Nate. It was Josh? No, I can't remember. I'll have to go back to the podcast we recorded to find out his name.
I think it was Kyle.
Kyle?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, that doesn't... Anyways, we'll figure out his name. We'll ask. We might have LMG Vids there. Chris, he'll probably be there again. We'll see. I want to get more people this time, just to have more fun, I guess. But anyways, I've gone on long enough talking about the meetup. But yeah, we're gonna have a great stream.
Can I make a shout out? Can I make a shout out to somebody?
Yeah.
to Avery Lopez Baines, I just wanted to say, like, first of all, hi. Second of all, you are all over YouTube.
Yeah.
Every time every time I find like a random YouTube video, you're in the comments section. Like I just finished watching a video about why it hurts so much to get kicked in the groin, and there you were in the comments section. Anyway, that's all.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's very. I think I saw Avery on a movie trailer, but yeah, Avery does get around when it comes to YouTube comments. But yeah, anyways, maybe Dallin. I don't know. I think he's in the parks already, so he probably wouldn't be able to. Maybe it was a couple months ago. I don't remember. We'll see. I'll ask everybody, and we'll try and plan something, like I said. But anyways, let's get into this week's. Okay, yeah. So I didn't mention this during the beginning of the stream, but this stream is sort of like a test. I don't know what to say. Okay, this stream is going to be sort of like a test going forward for you guys. I was pitching the idea of changing the name of the podcast to Live from the Peak. So let me know what you guys think about that. It's not 100%, not 100% that I'm going to do that. It was just an idea that popped into my head. If you guys have any other suggestions you'd like other name suggestions you'd think would be cool, we might end up just not changing the name at all, because Matterhorn Mondays does have a nice ring to it. But I feel like Live from the Peak has an equally nice ring to it. But comment down below, type in chat, whatever you guys want to do, what you think would be a good name, or if the name should be changed at all. If you like Matterhorn Mondays, definitely say that you like it and you don't want it changed. But anyways, we do have name the podcast Saturday Night Live. That's a good one. That is a good original idea. Matterhorn Mondays Live from the Peak. That's good too. Sort of combining them both. But yeah, everybody comment down below what you guys think. Everybody's always confused. Matterhorn Mondays, but on Saturday. That should be the name, 100%. But yeah, so we do have little, I guess, what are they called? Like jingles, or I guess jingles would be the word for some of our segments. We have ones for news from the Peak, and then we have one for Matt Hosts Ghosts that Jeremy himself actually recorded for me. So big round of applause for Jeremy for recording these amazing voiceovers. He really is really good when it comes to like I don't even know what the word would be, like just general voiceovers, I guess. So yeah, let's get right into this week's. I need to make sure I have this right. Let's get right into this week's News from the Peak.
We now present to you News from the Peak.
Okay, this week's News from the Peak, everybody. That was really good. I don't know about you guys, but that was really good. I liked that a lot. So
I really liked that.
Yeah, it was exactly what I asked for, Jeremy. Big thank you to Jeremy for doing that.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Anyways, let's get, like I said, News from the Peak. This week's first bit of Disney news is Disney rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny Depp. According to DSMINewscast.com, and of course all the links are in the description below, Disney is in talks to rebooting the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise with the, with the Deadpool writers. I cannot, these names, guys, just like the Hollywood popular people's names are just terrible. Rhett Reese and Paul Winrick. I guess that wasn't that bad. Just looked intimidating. Yeah, so Disney has apparently met with those two Deadpool writers to reboot the franchise without Johnny Depp. I don't know if any of you guys really like Johnny Depp. He's sort of, I don't want to say he's sort of like fallen off the past couple years, but he's definitely not the crowd drawer that he used to be, in my opinion. And I also believe that Pirates of the Caribbean should just stop making movies. Or yeah, I feel like a reboot would be nice without Johnny Depp, because there are so many reasons that we could state as to why we don't like these movies, why Johnny Depp's character is just terrible. The first one was fine. I liked the first one, but I'm going to quote from DSMI Newscast.com. Let's see. Jerry Bruckheimer will continue to captain ship as producer on Pirates of the Caribbean, but at this point it is too early to say who else might be back, and that includes Johnny Depp, who has channeled Rolling Stones' rogue Keith Richard in playing Jack Sparrow through the first 5 films. Now, yeah, it also says, of course, Johnny Depp has garnered some quite negative attention the past couple years. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this, because I feel like this would be a great idea moving forward for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. That's just in my opinion, but yeah, like I said, links to everything are in the description below. Our second bit of Disney news this week. This news really saddens me. Muppet Vision 3D is now operating with reduced hours at Hollywood Studios. Now, I don't know who doesn't like Muppet Vision 3D. I remember when it used to be in California Adventure. It's not anymore, sadly. But yeah, so according to WDW News Today, you guys better get there, see the show as fast as you can, because yeah, it's probably gonna close soon. I don't know what Disney has against the Muppets. Maybe they're gonna revamp the show, make a new show. I don't know. Who doesn't love the Muppets? Everybody loves the Muppets.
Not me.
Wait, Alex doesn't like the Muppets, really?
You know what? It's not that I hate them. I don't hate them. I just never grew up with the Muppets. I never watched anything Muppets, and then finally when I was
Sesame Street?
No, I didn't have a TV growing up, so I didn't So like when I finally crawled out of the cave, when I was a teenager, I was way past the point of getting into the Muppets,
Mm-hmm. I guess I can see. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on Muppet Vision? Probably going to close very soon. What are your thoughts on that?
I love Muppet Vision 3D. It's one of my favorite things in Hollywood Studios. And yeah, I mean, I'm sad. I really like that attraction, and I mean, this is the typical path toward Disney weeding out a ride, reduced hours. Next, it's going to be seasonal. Next, it's going to close temporarily for refurbishment, and then it's never going to open again. That's my prediction for it. Sadly. Yeah, it'll be sad. That's a really enjoyable show.
Max says, is Muppet Vision seriously going down the same end as Stitch's Great Escape? That is just very sad to think. Well, WDW also points out that the restaurant Pizza Rizzo is currently closed and will not reopen until sometime in 2019. Both Muppet Vision properties that are in Hollywood Studios, kind of conspiracy-ish, maybe not. Maybe they both won't reopen. I think Pizza Rizzo recently opened as well, just this past year, I think. But anyways, moving on to our last bit of Disney news is an Indiana Jones themed land coming to Hollywood Studios in the near time, because a couple months ago, I believe, Alex and I reported on Indiana Jones ride, or land, mini land, coming to the Animal Kingdom Park in Florida. But apparently that is not the case anymore. These are all rumors. I just want to, at least this one is. This is a rumor. I feel like we should more openly say that when things are rumors and when things are not. But yeah, this is a rumor, 100%, that the Indiana Jones land might opened in Hollywood studios. You never know. Links to all the articles are in the description down below. I believe there is a fifth or sixth, I don't even know at this point, a fifth or sixth Indiana Jones movie coming out in 2021, I want to say. Sometime. I don't even know if it's the fifth or yeah, 2021. No, that's okay, never mind. According to Polygon.com, the Indiana Jones mini-land is planned for sometime after 2021. I'm trying to find when the sixth or seventh movie is gonna come out. Okay, yeah. So Disney decided to push it back from July 19th, 2019 to July 10th, 2020. And production is set to begin in April of 2019, next year. But, oh no, okay. But then I guess Disney also announced that Indiana Jones 5 would be released pushed back again to July 9th, 2021 instead of 2020. So we still got a ways to go for all you Harrison Ford fans. I don't know. Harrison Ford's a good actor, or he was. I feel like he doesn't really care anymore in the new movies he's done. That's probably just me. He's just trying to get that sweet paycheck. But anyways, that's going to do it for this week's News from the Peak. I hope you guys, yeah, definitely leave your feedback on this sort of bumpers, I guess, jingles, whatever you guys would like to call them. Still a work in progress visually. As you can see, there was sort of like a not like glitchiness, but roughness to the transition. But yeah, definitely leave your feedback. We have one more for Matt Hosts Ghosts later in the show. And it is our special Halloween-themed episode, in case you guys haven't noticed, with all the orangeness in the background. And we do have a couple spooky stories to read later on today that were sent in by you listeners out there. If you guys would like to get in your stories right now, before we get into Matt Hosts Ghosts, you can email them to me. I'm going to type the email in chat. ytmatterhornmatt@gmail.com. Yeah, so if you guys would like to get in your spooky stories right now, or sometime during the show for our special Halloween-themed episode, you can email them, send them on the Discord. Either way, whatever you feel comfortable. I feel like email is more convenient, at least for me, though. But yeah, that's how you guys can send in your spooky stories. And now let us get into our main topics for today. Let's see, our main topics. We have a couple interesting topics for you guys today. One from Theme Park Insider and one from WDW News Today. We're going to be getting into the Marvel Land stuff after this first topic. I think we'll have a lot to say about that. But this is an interesting article from Theme Park Insider. Link is in the description. How changing demographics are changing the theme park business. What started the theme park industry? Now, I saw someone sent this to us on the Discord. And of course, the title is of course going to catch your eye. How changing demographics are changing the theme park business. This article, it's a really great read. I didn't read the whole thing. I read it 95% of it, probably. Jill says, yeah, it's a pretty short article, guys. It's not a very long read. I should be saying that to myself. I should have read the whole thing. But Jill Snyder says in chat that she's the one that sent it. So thank you, Jill, for bringing this to our attention. Yeah, very interesting article. I feel like Alex and Jeremy would have a lot to say. Me probably as well would have a lot to say when it comes to this. Let's see. I don't even know where to begin with this. Alex, do you wanna start here, because this is a very interesting article that I feel like you'd have a lot of things to say about.
Okay, well, basically, this article is talking about how, like, Disneyland started off as a place where, of course it was for families, but mostly it was for bringing children into this magical realm that was shown to them in the favorite Disney movies and animated features that the company was putting putting out. So anyway, so the article goes on to talk about how the baby boomers, which was a surge of children being born between 1946 and 1964, being the main reason why Disneyland was so popular, because everybody needed a place to take all those kids, to have fun and be with family and stuff like that. And so yeah, so it's an interesting article. I don't. It's very short, so I guess let me see. I didn't want to reveal like everything about the article, probably because I'd probably have to reread it. But in any case, he makes a very good point about the fact that that over the years that like for instance, Generation X and then Y and then Z has been changing in the sense that there's been slightly less children being born, statistically speaking, than compared to like the baby boomers, and so it affects the theme park industry based off of like what the audience demands. When you have a lot of kids in your society, of course, the theme park industry will probably reflect more rides and things and attractions that are based off of movies that the children would like. But he was saying that as the years go on, you're seeing less and less children's focused rides and attractions, and more attractions that are focused towards the teens and adults. And so he makes a lot of very good points. However, I don't necessarily agree with this article, because I was reading a comment in the comments section of the article by a guy named Russell Meyer. I think he's 2 comments down, I believe. And he was talking about how it's not the fact that there's less children and more adults nowadays. It's actually more about what the audience wants to see. As time goes on, people want more exciting and more adventurous rides, and that usually calls for like the things we've been seeing with Flight of Passage and even like the closest thing to children's thrill rides, which would be like the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train coaster and stuff like that. And so we're seeing a lot of rides now that are reflecting more thrilling adventures. And I think honestly that's just because of what people demand nowadays. People want just stuff that people don't want to ride rides like, I don't know, like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Now they want to go on this big adventure, like I don't know, like the new Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean. They want stuff that will thrill and excite them. So that's what I believe. I believe that it's not necessarily who's visiting the park, it's what they want. And then there's another fact that's going on, or factor I should say, that's going on here, is that, oh geez, the thought just escaped my head as I was thinking about it. Let's see, it's right here somewhere. I'm gonna reread it. Person said, yes. So they're talking about how the park no longer wants to cater to the demographic of people who are like lower class and stuff like that, and they're making the parks more expensive because it's, oh, what was I saying? That I'm trying to read here really quick, trying to skim over this to see like what did he say exactly, so I don't butcher what he said, and I can't find it. So now, anyway, about that. the parks are getting more expensive because of the fact that what people want nowadays out of the parks demands higher costs to build. You know, when people want to ride attractions like Radiator Springs Racers, you can't just build something on the scale of Radiator Springs Racers with the budget that it takes to build Pinocchio's Daring Journey. It's just not going to happen. You know, and since everybody wants these big immersive lands and theming, of which I have to add, the Disney company has been focusing less and less on single rides and now just whole lands. So all this costs a lot of money. And then, of course, there's talk about how the food offerings at the parks have changed over the years, how now the restaurants are offering more contemporary twists on food. You know, even a burger nowadays at the parks is kind of fancy for a burger. And the quality that you get in other restaurants when you like eat at like Red Rose Tavern, for instance, which is a quick service restaurant, the food that they have there is really amazing. And you don't really see that at theme parks. So the costs of bringing such higher quality to Disney is what's causing the prices to go up. And then, of course, it has to do with the fact that, you know, famously, Disney's profits from their revenues have always had such a small margin. And nowadays, people are demanding from Disney, or the stockholders, I should say, or not stockholders, shareholders, I should say, are demanding for more money back. You know, they're tired of the fact that Disney's always been this place that spends a lot on maintenance, but then gets very little back in profit. Now they are demanding a lot more in profit without any decrease in maintenance. So what's happening is the parks are getting more and more expensive in order to gain a higher profit margin. So in conclusion of this speech, the parks are getting more expensive, not to just push people out of the parks. It's supply and demand. It's what the audience wants compared to what's cheap. So that's my opinion on this article.
Okay, thank you, Alex. What about you, Jeremy? What are your thoughts on this interesting article?
I think it's an interesting analysis of the theme park consumer history. I always think these kinds of arguments about theme parks need to keep up with like numbers and and like I never like classifying generations. I think it fosters a total disconnect of just people to people based on age. I think it's something totally invented by probably advertising companies, just to like put everybody in categories, and then it's easier to sell things to those specific categories. But so I see the point, and one of the points that I really actually agree with was the bringing forth the like the example of food and wine festivals, and those are things that cater more toward adults than children, and I think that's true. But I don't know. I find arguments like this a show of how we've come to think of what theme parks are. And like these articles, in this article always says Disneyland served as a template for other amusement and theme parks that we know today. And that might be true in a skeletal sense, but I still think Disneyland stands on its own as its own thing, and I think the intention of making the park in the first place served a different intention than what other theme parks after Disneyland, the popular ones, were made, which I think are more in line with how we've come to think of what theme parks are. I think Universal has dominated, and a combination of Universal and Six Flags have defined the modern conception of what a theme park is, and not Disneyland. I think they totally those parks and their fun experiences for what they are, totally shifted the nature of what a theme park is. We always credit Disneyland for that. I think Disneyland was its own thing. It was trying to do its own thing, its own artistic thing, and people saw that it was popular and used it for something else. And so now and Disney has come to think of itself as that very thing. And we've been seeing the results of that for the past 20 years. So Disney, in effect, has forgotten itself. But when I see articles like this, it's just too practical. It doesn't consider that the theme parks were created out of any artistic value. Its subtext almost argues that it was created to make money off of a generation of babies. So I think other theme parks have ridden that wave. I don't think that was Disneyland's intention from the start. But it's certainly where it is now, and maybe that's the point of the article.
Okay. Alex, do you have anything you'd like to add to what Jeremy said?
Yeah, I totally agree with Jeremy on that. I don't know that I could have said it any better, actually. So, but there was something I wanted to add too that the article talks about, which is like it's one of its arguments for the fact that it was saying that that because there's more adults than there are kids now, it's reflecting decisions of the parks to create places where they sell alcohol. So, like, for instance, they're going to have the cantina in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and they're saying that that's because they're catering to the adults. I mean, yes, obviously, adults are going to be drinking there, but I don't think that they're necessarily doing that because it's all adults that are coming to the park. I think they're doing that because it generates a lot of money, honestly. And they can do some really creative stuff with it. I mean, if they just did creative drinks that didn't have alcohol in it, people probably wouldn't try too much of it.
Okay. I don't know what to add. Very interesting discussion. I'd love to hear what you guys in chat, you guys listening at home, would have to say. The article is in the description. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and quote from the article. Disney has been working for years to broaden the appeal of a Disney vacation into something for all ages and family situations. Pixar Fest just provides the latest example of Disney making explicit that broader focus. Is that a sentence? I'm going to reread that. Pixar Fest just provides the latest example of Disney making explicit that broader focus, in this case, to visiting with friends. Okay, I don't know what that sentence was, but anyways, that's kind of a broken sentence, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to have this sort of debate because you look at things like, I guess you can, I don't really know what to add, I'm just gonna say stuff. You look at things like Pixar Fest, like they're saying, or like Star Wars Land, or even the Marvel Land, which we'll be getting into later. The they're saying, people are saying that Disney is, a lot of people have been saying for years that Disney is just for babies, just for little kids, you know. But really, I think what Walt wanted when he first made Disneyland was to have a place for families, parents and their children, to both be able to have fun in an amazing place like Disneyland, and that's why he made Disneyland. So it's kind of interesting when you look at, like I said, Star Wars Land. Adults, of course, you'd think the main draw for Star Wars Land would be, I don't know, like 30-year-old, 40-year-old dudes who like Star Wars a lot, who've seen all the movies, who, yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Mostly like older people who grew up with Star Wars, who are diehard Star Wars fans. But Star Wars isn't just for, you know, old grandpas or like old dads. Kids, a lot of kids really enjoy Star Wars as well. So it's kind of interesting because yeah, that's all I have to add to this, because you guys took everything that I was gonna say. But anyways, any closing thoughts on this topic?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the ultimate thing. Articles like this imply that the people, the consumer, a generation of people have the ultimate power of the artistic changes of the park.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't see how that's true. Disney is in control of that. You know, they are the ones who've been making the Marvel movies for the past 10 years. And of course, we're going to, you know, go see those movies. Mm-hmm. And it is going to, of course, inspire and affect the generation of kids to love that stuff. But it's not like the kids chose that. You know, it's I don't like the argument of, well, Disney is just, you know, servicing what the wants and needs of the consumer are. It's a weird argument. No, they've been fully controlling the wants and needs of the consumer for decades. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you had someone like Walt in charge, he recognized that the people actually don't know what they want, and that's an exciting thing. So you can really feel free to do whatever. And if you do it with enough passion and with enough of a high level of quality, people are going to eat it up no matter what it is. And if it's really good and says something really powerful, it can really inspire you. Conversely, though, you know, if you're just a smart businessman, you know how to take advantage of the fact that people don't know what they want, and you can sell them anything, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we've been seeing more and more of with Disney. The past maybe 15 or 20 years. Of course, the Marvel movies are great. It has nothing to do with that. But it's this idea that somehow, well, you know, there's no point in doing anything else other than just riding the wave of the successes of that, because that's what the people want. No, the people want anything. They want everything, you know. You know, so it is about money. I think that goes back to what Alex was saying. It is ultimately all about money. But that's, I think, where my general distaste for an analysis like this comes from, because it's so practical. And Disneyland is anything but practical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said, interesting discussion. Yeah, I really like to see, or like to read what everybody else listening to has to say about this article. But I think we're going to be moving on to our last but not least, our second, there we go, our second topic for today. As many of you probably know, WDW News Today released an article that claims to be detailing the first couple phases of Marvel Land at California Adventure. Now, this is interesting to say the least, because some of what is posted here goes against what we previously heard from I think this was the almost 3-hour podcast a couple weeks ago when we talked about this. where we talked about all those rumors about Marvel Land, Anaheim politics, the Fourth Hotel, all that junk. It sort of goes against that almost. But some of it also goes in conjunction with it. So let's just get right into it. So let's see. WDW News Today claims that all of these. I'm gonna scroll down and quote what he said so I don't mess it up. All of this information has been confirmed by internal documents at this point, so none of the above is much of a rumor. Certainly thematic elements could change, but the overall plan mapped out above is what you will see rolling out in phases at Disney California Adventures starting in 2020. So they're saying all this is true. That's basically what they're saying. All their sources have confirmed that this is 100% going to happen. You know, to some extent, unless something major happens, but all right, so let's just get right into this. Now, I guess I'll just quote from this article. As guests enter through the former Bountiful Valley Farm area, they'll pass under a marquee and walk down a long passage between maters. I'm going to switch to this because this is the area he's talking about. They'll pass under a marquee and walk down a long passage between Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Cars Land and the former It's Tough to Be a Bug Theater. The former It's Tough to Be a Bug Theater building is being repurposed for the new Spider-Man attraction, where guests are given a web shooter of their own to use. The ride appears to be mostly screen-based. Big note for that. Mostly screen-based, likely 3D in nature. So think Toy Story Midway Mania, but with guests shooting webs instead of darts, balls, and rings. The entrance to the building will be rerouted to the opposite sides of... What? The entrance to the building will be rerouted to the opposite side of so it can be accessed from the hub of this new land. That wasn't me mispronouncing. The central hub is a large Avengers symbol in the ground that is surrounded by all of the land's offerings. Think of this as the Avengers California campus. So, we'll stop there. There were previous rumors that the Marvel Land in California adventure was going to be sort of themed around, like what I just said, an Avengers campus in California. Now, I wish I could find the articles for that, if you guys would like to link those so we can go back and read those later on, or I guess refer to them. But I guess it turns out that those rumors are true because apparently this Avengers Land is going to be themed after a California campus, whatever that means. It could really mean anything. I mean, I don't necessarily know what an Avengers California campus could possibly mean. Let's continue.
Doesn't mean anything. They're just trying to tie it into the title of the park, you know.
Okay. That makes sense. Avengers California. Okay. That makes sense. Let's see. The Spider-Man queue is attached to the former tissue box restrooms of A Bug's Land, which will be remodeled and kept for the new area. Let's see here. They also say a Doctor Strange sort of show experience, whatever that means. Doctor Strange will have his own show experience where guests will meet the Avenger in a round courtyard. Sort of in this, I guess, in the same manner of what is currently going on the Disney Cruise Line. They have like a little show going on, I guess. There's a video attached to this article if you guys would like to see. Now, this is sort of another interesting bit. We also talked about a few months ago when these rumors first broke about a microbrewery being in the land, and apparently this is true. Apparently there will be a microbrewery themed to Ant-Man because, you know, micro Ant-Man. Get it? You guys listening? You guys get it? Microbrewery.
Oh! Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Alex, for thank you. Oh my gosh. So yeah, apparently the microbrewery explains what this big can over here, let me get my pointer. What this big can up here means. I guess. I don't know. They're also saying that when you're looking at the poster, it's worth noting that what you see is what you will get. While not absolutely true to life, this will pretty much be the view guests will have down the main thoroughfare of Marvel Land heading towards Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. So yeah, that's it for Phase 1. So I guess we can pause there, talk a little bit about this, because I don't know what to think of this. I like the idea of an Avengers campus where all of the superheroes, I guess in this world, where all of the superheroes could get together and sort of like, I guess like a college campus is another good way of describing it, where all of the superheroes can sort of get together, just chill, meet with guests. I don't really know what this would mean, but apparently this is everything in the poster. That's everything we're going to be getting. So yeah, I guess we can start off with the microbrewery, because I feel like that would be the most, I guess not necessarily the most controversial part, but Alex, what are your thoughts on audio messed up? Okay, Alex, what are your thoughts on so far these quote confirmed rumors? I don't even know what to call this. Well, on these, what are your thoughts on these new details about the new Marvel Land?
All right. Well, when I read this, okay, let me just. Okay, so the Spider-Man shooter ride, that's all well and okay to have something themed to Spider-Man, but when it's going to be all like screen-based, it's just a little bit disappointing. I mean, Midway Mania is fun. It's cool. But that's also because it makes sense. You're going through all these Midway games, But when you're supposed to be in an environment like Spider-Man, like I don't imagine Spider-Man like, in a Midway game or something. You expect you're going to be in the city, whatever it is, and shooting webs at bad guys or whatever. And so it's just disappointing, because I'm just like, really, like this big screen-based ride, when the world has way too many of them. So it's just disappointing. I mean, I guess what else do I expect? I mean, they have that tiny building to work with, but I feel like if they just opened their pocketbook a little bit wider, they could just build a larger show building to house just at least better like environment sets and things like that, instead of having to focus on screens all the time. I mean, whatever happened to projection mapping? I mean, what if you had like actual scenes and stuff like that, and you use projection mapping to show like the spider webs going everywhere? Like, I don't know. Anyway, but that's not even that big a deal to me. The biggest deal to me is the microbrewery. I'm okay with a microbrewery. I don't really drink beer though, so I'd probably never go there. If anything, I'd go to the Golden Wine Trattoria to try out some wines, but I would never go get a margarita or get like a beer. But nevertheless, microbreweries are fun, and they're good. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, when the article says that the entrance of this microbrewery is going to have a giant beer can on the outside of it, the first thing I thought of was Burger Invasion. Okay? The giant hamburger that you walk inside of. Okay? To get your McDonald's hamburger. Like, come on. Like, I thought we were past putting all this cheesy stuff in California Adventure. Okay, I get it. I get that it's themed after Ant-Man and he can get really small or whatever. But I mean, it's just like, just think about the way it looks, people. I mean, just like you can still have Ant-Man when he's at his full size look, you know, like he doesn't always have to be super tiny. I bet if you were gonna, you know, if they were gonna have a meet and greet with Ant-Man, he's gonna be a person-sized Ant-Man. You know, so there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's kind of like when Disney was, you know, having Ariel walk around Disneyland. I mean, she used to be in her flipper and fin and whatever. But it's still okay to have Ariel walking around because at one point in the movie she has legs, you know. So anyway, I just felt like they could have done this microbrewery idea themed to Ant-Man without putting a big beacon saying, "Hello, this is cheap."
Well, very good points from Alex, all of which I agree with. Jeremy, what about you?
Well, first I'll start with Spider-Man. Judging, I mean, I'll disclaimer. I can't judge. I can't really have a full opinion about an attraction that hasn't even been built yet, or and an attraction I haven't even been on yet. But judging by the tone of the article, it sounds like we have cause to be underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Disney of today has this tendency to think they are in touch with, kind of relating back to the previous conversation. They think they're in touch with like the trends that people want, and they might touch upon it in one instant. And then they think that that's all people want forever. And then they keep like Frozen, like fine movie, but then they keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you with it, thinking that that's how you make something timeless, and it's not. And this is how I feel about, I think they think people think screens and attractions is cool, and I think people are exhausted by it. And I think after this, I think people are going to start to really feel hungry for like a Pirates of the Caribbean, something totally feels real, you know, 3 dimensions, not because of glasses you're wearing, but because of, you know, it's real. So that's my thought about that. My initial thought about that is I think they think it's going to be more popular than it actually will be. In terms of the microbrewery, California Adventure already sells beer. It'll just be another place where you can buy a beer. And I have to say, the article's saying, if you want to know like the layout of the land, it's basically going to look like what the poster looks like. This is I'm worried.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I look at this poster and I feel tense. I feel claustrophobic. It does not look like in a place I want to go to. Looks like a place I want to avoid. It does not fill me with a sense of wonder and curiosity. It fills me with a sense of like anxiety. Am I the only one that feels that way? It could be the way the poster's designed.
No, I mean, I agree. When you look at the poster, like I feel like I'm gonna get mugged, and like all the superheroes are gonna be busy signing autographs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very funny. I just I just feel a sense of like it's supposed to be like gritty, cool, you know, and I don't. Yeah, it doesn't look like an appealing land to visit. You know, usually a new land in a Disney park is supposed to instill you with a sense of wonder, a sense of awe, a sense of curiosity. And this looks like it does the exact opposite. Now, what this article tells me is I think the conversation about Marvel Land used to be, it's going to be at the same or similar scale to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
What this is showing to me is that they're starting to allocate money toward, I think, their major Epcot overhaul. And this is just a little side project to liven up California Adventure so nobody forgets about the West Coast after Galaxy's Edge. I think that this is actually kind of like a B project in their mind, and then they're looking after Galaxy's Edge, they're looking toward the complete overall of Epcot, which sounds like they need a lot of money for that, and not a lot of money for this.
Yeah, it's weird because the past couple of times, I don't remember where I heard this quote from, but I do remember reading somewhere that Marvel Land was supposed to be on par immersively with Galaxy's Edge. And if this article is true, which we don't know if this article is true or not, they're claiming that all of this is confirmed by, quote, internal documents. I don't really know what the heck, how they would know that if they have people on the inside working for that. I don't know. But yeah, so it's sort of, yeah, I agree with Jeremy. It sort of feels like this is sort of, if this has just been like pushed to the side, which is sad because I feel like with Marvel, you'd have a really great opportunity to make like awesome, awesomely themed attractions and awesome immersive land with all these amazing superheroes that everybody loves. At least most people love nowadays. But yeah, I mean, when they say, while you're looking at the poster, it's worth noting that what you see is what you get. While not absolutely true to life, this will pretty much be the view, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, very underwhelming, in my opinion. I do have an interesting question for you guys, but I'm going to get to that once we finish going through the entire article. Let's see, let's move on. Let's see, the Quinjet is located in front of the Phase 2 offering, not flying like in the poster. It's not gonna fly because it's not a real Quinjet. A truly massive Avengers e-ticket attraction that is expected to be a roller coaster. Oh, that was another really weird sentence. Okay. Anyways, as for story elements or anything beyond that, details are scarce at this point. All we know is that it will be huge in scale. So I'm going to stop right there. I do have the article open from the past couple episodes ago where we talked about all these rumors. I kind of want to revert back to that. I'm also saying this article from, let's see, what website is this? wdwmagic.com. I'm not claiming these are true either. They're all rumors. But the first bullet was Marvel Land, and I guess in the past, this member has been known to post very accurate information when it comes to this kind of stuff. So yeah, the first bullet was Marvel Land. You guys can go back a couple episodes if you would like to catch up on this article, because it was the almost 3-hour long episode. But yeah, let's see. Marvel Land is planned to open with a C-ticket attraction in the Bugs Theater in 2020, but she doesn't know which one they landed on after the big Avengers e-ticket coaster was canceled due to being hugely expensive and ridiculously low on rider capacity. So that sort of gets into the part where I was mentioning, sort of contradicts what we previously read about the Avengers roller coaster being canceled. So that's sort of one of the reasons why we don't really know if this is true or not. I mean, again, we are basing that off of another rumor, I guess, so it could all be fake. It doesn't really matter to anybody, really. But yeah, so we'll see if the Avengers e-ticket attraction is actually going to be happening. I don't know. Contradicting information is really what I wanted to point out. But moving on. As for shopping opportunities, a large shop sits near the second phase Avengers ride, with a smaller shop located across from the Spider-Man attraction. You'll be happy to know that phases 1 and 2 do not touch the red car trolley attraction that runs from Mission Breakout down to Buena Vista Street, so that will be sticking around. And that's pretty much the end. A very short article. You'd think something like this would be like 10 pages long, but I guess not everything is set in stone, or they ran out of things to make up in the article. I don't know. It could all be fake for all we know. But so the one thing I want to touch on is I believe like somewhere along a year ago there were patents released for a ride system that sort of simulates swinging. I think we reported on that, Alex and I, way long ago, and I know Fresh Baked made videos on that as well. Let's see, and the patent was speculated to either be for Tarzan. I mean, why would Disney make a Tarzan ride in 2020, or Spider-Man, which of course Spider-Man was the most popular candidate for all this rumor stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see a Spider-Man themed C-ticket attraction when we already had the patents for a D, almost E-level Spider-Man attraction. I guess then again the patents could be for another park, but it's really it's disappointing to me because Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character, and all we're gonna get from him is a screen attraction like Midway Mania. It's not really. That's just not my cup of tea. I don't want to say they're disrespecting the character. That would be really stupid of me to say, but I mean, a screen attraction for Spider-Man, that's kind of lame in my opinion. But anyways, let's see. I do have one other question to raise to you guys, because they are saying that this land will be opened in phases. I don't know if there's going to be a third phase or not. They didn't detail that. They just detailed on phase 1 and 2. So I want to know what all of your guys' thoughts are on Disney opening, quote, immersive lands in phases. Because it's totally understandable for Disney to want to make these huge immersive lands like Galaxy's Edge, or, you know, like Marvel Land, or even like Pandora. But in my opinion, opening a Marvel land that's supposed to be on par thematically, I guess immersively would be a better word, with Galaxy's Edge in phases would be kind of, it's not, I don't know, it just sounds really strange to me. Because of course, Galaxy's Edge is not going to be opening in phases. The whole land is going to be open at once. Pandora was the same way. So I want to know what all of your guys' thoughts are on Disney opening these lands in phases, sort of incomplete lands, I guess. Disney opening an incomplete land, and sort of like the way they did with Pixar Pier, even though it's not technically a new land, but they did open Pixar Pier, charge people $300 to get early access to it, even though a lot of it, like 50% of the land, isn't even finished yet. The Inside Out attraction isn't there. The Jesse's Critter Carousel isn't there still. And even just up until recently, the Luxo lamp, whatever, was not on the entrance to Pixar Pier. And I don't even think it has like a bag over its head. I don't even think they took the bag off of its head. So, yeah, it's just kind of weird.
You know
to
what
me.
I think?
Yes.
I think that them opening this land in phases is actually reflective of their what's the word here? I can't think of the word, so I'm gonna have to use layman's terms. I think that it just shows that they're not fully in on this project. They don't know if it's going to be popular. I'm not going to say successful necessarily, but popular. You know, I think that they're just a little bit, they're cautious, I think. And so it's like, if they release the first phase and it doesn't do so well, then they don't have to, you know, front the money for the second phase. Whereas if they did it all at once, the next thing you know, it just didn't end up being that popular, then they wouldn't have to worry about it. I mean, remember when we had what was it? There was that meet and greet in the Innoventions building with the Marvel characters.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was mildly popular, but it wasn't like insanely busy like Disney thought it would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even then, like, I've been like looking at, you know, how popular the what's the thing that they got? Oh gosh, the Star Wars themed one that they have there.
Yeah.
And there's like that place is like almost dead. So I don't know. I think that I don't think there might be very much interest in a Marvel themed land.
That's I I don't know. It's interesting to me because Marvel is like the biggest thing in the world right now. I mean, Avengers Infinity War opened to like, I don't even know how much money it made. I think it was like almost $1 billion, $2 billion, whatever, how much money it made. And like I was saying, I feel like if Disney really wanted this land to work, they could make it work. Same with Star Wars Land. Star Wars Land might not be that great, but Marvel, in my opinion, is a bigger property than Star Wars, a more popular property. I guess a property more people relate to. This is just all, in my opinion, based off all my experiences. But I feel like Disney shouldn't cheap out when it comes to a Marvel land, because a lot of people do love these movies. I mean, like Black Panther, I believe, made almost $2 billion as well. It's just so interesting to think that Marvel, of all properties, I mean, Pixar I understand, but Disney not having faith in like a Marvel land is just really mind-blowing to me. Because,
well, but think about it this way. You know, you could have, you know, the most popular franchise in Hollywood, but, you know, can it really apply to a theme park? I mean, look at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. At least what you can do when you build it in a theme park is create this huge immersive world, right? What can you do with Marvel? I mean, all the characters are existing in a perfectly normal society. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of immersion can you create? What kind of environment can you create that doesn't look anything less than just you walking through city streets? You know? Like, I mean, and think about the outside of the Spider-Man attraction. What would that look like? I mean, what do you expect it to look like? I mean, it's not like, you know, like when you see the outside of Star Tours, you know, at Hollywood Studios, you see this big AT-AT Walker and, you know, and the Endor Forest and stuff like that. I don't even know if that's still there, so I might be wrong on that one. But you know, it was like this huge immersive exterior of the attraction. And you looked at it and you go, you know, that's Spider-Man. That's no, I'm sorry, not Spider-Man. That's Star Wars. You know, but what are they going to build on the outside of this ride besides a giant, like 90-foot tall poster of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
You know, for you to go, wow, that looks great. You know, like, so, you know, I wouldn't put it past Disney for them for this land to end up looking like some kind of futuristic New York City with a few Marvel characters scattered around. I don't think it's gonna be this big immersive world.
You got a point. You really do. I didn't think of it that way. But I just want to say one more thing. If that is the case, why not just reskin Hollywood Land? Why tear down Bugs Land to build Marvel Land if they can literally just reskin? I mean, like you were saying, Hollywood Land is just like a New York street. They can just, you know, gut the animation building or something and put in the Spider-Man right there. I don't understand why they would have to tear down an entire land to just build something similar to what's right next to it. It just doesn't really make any sense to me. But Jeremy, what are your thoughts on everything?
I have a couple thoughts. If I had to guess why they were releasing or building this land in phases as opposed to Galaxy's Edge, I think or Pandora. I think it's because Pandora and Galaxy's Edge were they are and were ambitious projects.
Mm.
And they might have learned a lot of lessons from opening and designing those lands, and they want to take this one slowly. That would be my only guess. However, I want to point out a historical point, which I think is very important. I don't know why people have been very upset that they've been released, that they're going to release this in phases. And this is something that Disney has done since for a long time. The Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland in Disney World was released in phases that took almost half of the decade for the land to become fully realized. More than that, almost the whole decade. Epcot Center was released in phases. There were many attractions that were not open, and pavilions that were not open, that were intended to be open on opening day, but were actually then released in phases. Horizons, the Living Seas Imagination. Those were all planned as opening day pavilions, but were either pushed into different phases the following year. Living Seas, of course, took till 86. And the park opened in 82. So this is not the first time Disney's done something in phases. It's usually because they want to get something right. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one for that.
Okay.
So we'll see. I think it has to do with, the past two major projects have been huge in scale, and I think they want to take this one slower.
Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, I don't like Marvel. I don't like that this land is coming in here, but I think they've always released lands in phases of the past 40 years. And
Okay.
we don't speak ill of the original Epcot. I don't.
Yeah. I agree. I did forget to bring up that Tomorrowland. I think we even have that in our Space Mountain video, that the Tomorrowland and the Magic Kingdom opened in phases. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to me that Disney is doing this to a property as big as Marvel. I just wish that, I don't know, maybe some of like the creative heads for Marvel would, or maybe they are, I don't know. Maybe if Kevin Feige would step in. I
have a rebuttal for Jeremy there.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so Jeremy, I want you off the top of your head to list off to me the most major projects that Disney did in the past where they had to do it in phases. And on each one, I will tell you why they did it in phases.
Ooh.
Well, let's start with Epcot.
Okay. Epcot was done in phases because it was the largest theme park at the time that Disney ever built. It required leveling a lot of land and reclaiming land from the existing swamps, which meant pulling in a lot of dirt and soil and even reinforcing the ground with concrete in order to make it walkable and to support the buildings that they were building there. And then, of course, Spaceship Earth being, at the time, the most expensive attraction ever built at Walt Disney World, because of it, first of all, the sheer engineering that they had to do, and then of course the design and building the interiors and things like that, and then so basically, Epcot being the biggest theme park at the time, created by a company that at the time was used to building, like one small thing at a time when it came to investments and stuff like that. The company wasn't nearly as big as it is today as it was back then. Or, I mean, as it is not nearly as big back then as it is today, is what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think they have their reasons for opening up in phases. I'm merely responding to the nature of opening something in phases in general. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm sure they have their reasons, and it might be technical reasons. I agree with you. I think it's more marketing reasons, but I don't think there's anything like, I don't think there's any crime being committed by kind of opening a land in phases when they don't really know what it is yet. I don't see what's wrong with that. Now, do I see what's wrong with the land in general? Yes, and we're both going to agree on that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with opening the land in phases when there might be a lot of other challenges that they're facing with a lot of the larger scale attractions that possibly might go into the land.
Okay. Well, we all make some really great points. Mateo says, Epcot and Walt Disney World Tomorrowland makes sense. With Epcot, they were running behind schedule and they wanted to open on the date they announced. With Tomorrowland, it was because they wanted to keep the attractions open as long as possible. And then he said before, Marvel Land is probably the most confusing choice Disney has made in years. Yeah, I don't know. It's very... I don't know. It's very interesting. We'll see how this all pans out. I'm excited. I guess the one last thing I have to say about this is, I think I said this the last time we talked about these rumors. I don't really see how Mission Breakout is going to fit into a college campus themed to the Avengers. If it's supposed to be like the Collector's Fortress or his warehouse or whatever.
That's because the overall theming and background or whatever of the land is it's almost like an afterthought. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have to kind of make it work to fit into this. It wasn't the initial thought in putting it in the first place. That's a big problem that the company has nowadays, or Imagineering has when they make new things, is they come up with some weird explanation as to why it actually works.
Yeah.
And they put it into some really complex backstory, which nobody can follow. So that's what it is. I mean, they're not thinking that through.
I want to know if they had different plans when they originally opened Mission Breakout for Marvel Land. If it was like themed to like an alien world. I don't know. It's just sort of interesting to think about because it doesn't fit into
I don't think that they did. I think they just wanted to do that because it was trending. I don't think they... But maybe you're right. Maybe they were planning it for a different land entirely.
Very interesting. I don't know about you guys, but this is just really interesting. I hope it all goes well. That's what my closing thoughts. I hope Marvel Land goes well. It might not be good. It might be bad, but it could also be great. You never know with Disney these days. Anyways, I think that's going to wrap up the topics for today, unless you guys have any closing thoughts you would like to mention.
No.
Okay, I guess
I have nothing more to say.
All right, well, let's get to... Okay, now we can get to some Words with Walt action. Or not Words with Walt, I'm sorry.
Oh, you got everybody hyped up right there.
I did. I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody who was excited for a Words with Walt. But, what is it? Matt Hosts Ghosts. That's what it's called. It'll stick in my brain eventually. But, as per tradition, not really tradition, it will be a tradition hopefully going on. But, we will be reading some spooky stories that all of you guys decided to send in to us. Let's see, I have two spooky stories to read for you guys today. One by Andrew, who was here a couple minutes ago, and one by Bryce, who I guess we can read Bryce's first, because his has an explanation as to why he's not at the stream today. So let's see. I need to time this right. I don't have a cool transition graphic for Matt Hosts Ghosts. It's just the audio that Jeremy recorded for us. So Andrew is here. He just said in chat. But so let's get... I don't know how to do this yet. We're still working out the details on how these sound bites will work, but let's see. Here we go. Matt hosts ghosts. Let me make sure everything's right first. Okay.
Welcome to Matt Hosts Ghosts.
Spooky. Again, thank you to Jeremy for recording these amazing voiceovers. Really, I'm serious. He did an amazing job with these.
A little embarrassing, but thank you. I hope it's enjoyable.
Yeah, next week I'll have a cool motion graphic to transition in between, and we're also working on one for Words with Walt. So it's just all a work in progress. But anyways, let's get into this week's first story, like I mentioned, by Bryce, who let's see. I'll just get right into it. His title is, what am I saying? I'm gonna turn the lights off. Is the lighting good? It's perfect. Can't really see anything. All right. Bryce's is titled Missing, and he has a little prelude here. Hey, all you mountaineers, Bryce here. I'll be away for a bit, but here's a true spooky story, and happy Halloween. Okay. I haven't read through these. I probably should have. It's probably another butcherer, which is fine, but anyways. My family and I are big Haunted Mansion fans, and always look forward to visiting the manor whenever we visit Walt's Magic Kingdoms. For this trip, we planned on going to Paris for my mom's birthday and parents' 30th anniversary. My dad planned on us going in the spookiest month of the year, but there was a worse spook. Just after we had planned the trip, Disney announced that they would be delaying the reopening of the Phantom Manor to 2019. And then we got the news that the Indiana Jones ride would be closed too. A true horror. Thank you, Bryce, for that. True spooky story, he says. We miss you, Bryce. Come back. We always enjoy reading your comments in chat. But yeah, thank you, Bryce. Not much of a spooky story, but it's kind of scary. Okay, we have one more by Andrew. It's a long one, you guys. So, let's see. He had the title. The title is the Day the Emoji Movie Died. So I haven't read this. Let's just get right into it. By Andrew. I wish I could be at the start of it all, back to the time when Sony was sitting down and coming up with ideas for a new animation feature. I bet it was maybe 2 in the morning. Some were tired and others had just had a fresh batch of Folgers coffee. Is that how it's pronounced? I think so. Everyone was around the table in Sony's animation department, each person with a piece of paper, a pen, and a confused mind, unsure of what the feature would be for their animation careers. Tony Leonardis, the director of the Emoji Movie, was there, quiet, tired I would assume, but still willing to figure out his film's destiny. He thought, maybe I can make it big. But then again, that's what I thought with Lilo and Stitch 2, and look how that turned out. Devin, 2 seats down from Tony, was also tired, but hopeful. He was new, an intern, and future filmmaker in the making. He had just eaten a panini from the fridge. It tasted okay, but it wasn't enough to keep him focused on the important topic at hand, Sony's new animated film. A fresh batch of Folgers had just been passed around. It was murky brown, slightly lighter in color. There's slightly more sugar in it this time, Tony thought to himself. He took a sip, but rejuvenation did not fill his heart, only disappointment and a dwindling desire to press on through the meeting. He stared at his drink, unshaken by its aroma and underwhelmed by his coworkers' fake excitement. Everyone was tired, everyone was trying to put a smile on their face when they saw their new animation movie had been bleak. Their new animation movie record had been bleak. Tony looked over to Devin. Devin looked, shall we say, meh, hopeful for his future career, but frustrated about his current situation. Tony decided that the new intern in the room needed a little happiness in his world. He pulled out his phone, opened his texting application, and sent Devin a smiling face and poop emoji. Tony felt somewhat like a hero. He had just brightened up someone's day and saved them from the injustice of boredom. Devin saw the text, giggled with glee, and thought, I bet the people who invented these emojis are filthy rich. Tony gave Devin a smile as if to say, I'm bored too, but hey, this job pays the bills. Tony then stated to Devin, you look pretty meh right now. Then, at that moment, Devin saw the light at the end of the animation tunnel. This was it, he thought. Devin imagined a pile of money the size of a lake, and he was swimming in it. People chanting on the shore, Devin, Devin, Devin. His yacht awaited him at the lake's docks, his fans running to it with excitement, screaming his name louder and louder. Devin! 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 Devin had found out what Sony needed, a movie with emojis in it. Children would adore it, parents would applaud it for its unique story, and everyone would spend their hard-earned cash to see it in all its glory. He interrupted another employee who was talking about stocks or something, but it was all a blur for Devin. He barely remembered what else was going on. He just had to share his fantastic idea. Thanks to Tony's meh comment, he now had a main character. The emojis would talk, there would be hilarious poop jokes, and James Corden would bring a hand into the movie somehow. Devin stood up, knocked over his Folgers, and shouted his idea to the boardroom. Everyone unanimously agreed, but that's where I wish I could have gone back. I could have taken Devin aside to talk to him about the horrible outcome this movie would bring. I could have talked to him about the annoying meh noises, but I can't do that, can I? Tony Leonardis made the Emoji Movie, and Devin might have gotten fired, and now the only thing we can do is laugh at what the movie has become. Devin should have listened to his song, World by Five for Fighting. The song states, be careful what you wish for, history starts now. Devin didn't look at the song, but now I bet he's looking at all the bad reviews this movie got and thinking about whether he should still make movies. And that is the end. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Another amazing story from Andrew. Yeah, big claps for everybody who sent in the stories. Yeah, so that's that. I guess that's gonna wrap up this episode. This spooky Halloween episode. Ooh, I was gonna have cobwebs like all over the screen, but I couldn't find a good PNG file to use. Anyways, thank you all for coming to this week's episode of Matterhorn Mondays. We hope you all enjoyed, and as always, we want to hear your thoughts on all the topics we discussed, whether it be Marvel Land, whether it be the article we talked about that I can't remember the name of, or Johnny Depp. We want to hear your thoughts on whether you think Johnny Depp should be back as Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah, I guess that's it. Do you guys have any closing things you'd like to say to the audience?
Well, Alex had to leave the stream.
Oh, he did. I didn't even see his message.
Yeah, he sent a message.
Oh, but, yeah, I see it now. Okay. Oh, well, bye, Alex.
Closing thoughts? No, I have no closing thoughts. Just, we must... No, I have nothing profound to say. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everybody. We hope you all have an amazing week. Be sure to be safe this Halloween. Don't eat any razor blades that happens to be in your Kit Kats, or you guys know the jokes. But yeah, you guys, I guess you guys, if you want, can send in your Halloween costumes. Hey, maybe we'll feature the coolest Halloween costumes next week. That'd be kind of cool. If anyone would like to send their Halloween costumes, maybe we'll do a little vote, see who dressed up the best for the night of spooks. If you guys would like, you can email them probably, or send them on the Discord, either way. But yeah, thank you all for joining us, and as always, have a great big beautiful tomorrow.